Chapter 2, Picklewitch and Jack, written by me, Claire Barker, published by Faber, illustrated by Teemu, Juhani. Robber Bird. Jack left for school in an optimistic mood, swinging the bag of cake still warm from the oven. He was wide awake in spite of the strange events of the night before. Bad dreams are only to be expected, he said to himself as he walked briskly down the street. Nothing to worry about, just the first night in a new house. Jack had an exciting day ahead. A new middle school, a new teacher, and very importantly, a chance to make new friends. It was the start of a thrilling adventure and nothing was going to spoil it. Jack was a star performer in the classroom. Brilliant at maths, super at science, and excellent at English, he was an all-round clever head boy material. At his last school, the other children had given him a nickname, Little Lord Smarty Pants. When it was announced that he'd won a scholarship to St Immaculate School for the Gifted, his classmates had been so happy they'd cheered, unlike his teacher, who had sobbed. Jack marched along whistling in the sunshine, talking to himself out loud and making plans for his future. I'm going to shine as an academic star. He smiled at the golden lion crest on his blazer pocket with pride. I'll be the best turned out boy in the school. I'll share my cakes and I'll make lots of new clever friends. No one will push me in puddles or call me names ever again. What he didn't see coming was the massive pigeon poo that fell out of the sky, splat, right onto his new blazer, covering the crest like a hideous badge. Jack looked down in horror as a one-legged bird swerved under his arm, swiped his bag of cakes, and flapped off into the distance. "Oi!" he shouted, running after it. "Thief! Give that back right now!" The pigeon got off to a good start, but it wasn't long before everything started to go wrong. There were moments of soaring flight, followed by flappy struggles where the bag bumped along the ground like a saggy party balloon. Managing only to stay a few metres ahead of Jack, the bird finally flapped and sputtered into the cover of a nearby wood, landing behind a big bush. Jack followed it into the woods, sweating and panting, but by the time he reached the bush, the robber pigeon had disappeared. Instead, in the spot where it should have been, was a little girl, polishing off his cakes. What? He span around in confusion, looking for the one-legged pigeon. What? Who are you? Give me back my cakes! He went to snatch them, but she, her mouth crammed full of lemon buns, clutched the bag ever tighter. Jack stared at her, his eyes whitening. Hang on a minute. It's you. You're real. You were looking through my bedroom window last night. Wasn't, she mumbled, gulping down the last remaining bits of cake. Yes you were, insisted Jack. How dare you? You can't just go around scaring people in their beds, stealing their cakes. Who do you think you are? He stared at her peculiar dungarees and her even more peculiar hat, his brain still desperately trying to catch up with his eyes. Who indeed was she? She looked about his age, but entirely different to anyone he'd ever met. Picklewitch calmly tipped the remaining crumbs out of the bag and into her mouth, dropping most of them down her front. You are a very impolite person. Jack looked at the poo on his blazer in disgust and then with dismay at his watch. Oh no, he howled. Now I'm going to be late on my first day too. He grabbed his rucksack and broke into a run. Whoever you are, this is all your fault, he shouted over his shoulder. I don't know what you want, but just get lost, okay? Stay away or I'll call the police, do you hear? The girl stood up and watched Jack disappear down the road until he was nothing but a dot. The cakes had been unusually delicious, and as she thought about them, a splendid idea crept into her head. Birds swooped down from the trees and picked the stray lemon crumbs from her dungarees as she pondered. By the time the birds had finished, and they did an excellent job, her mind was made up. And when Picklewitch had made up her mind, there was simply no unmaking it.